Family, Genesis 8 shows us what happens after God's judgment passes. The waters begin to recede, the ark comes to rest, and Noah steps into a brand new world. This chapter is full of hope, restoration, and God's faithfulness. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive right in. Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study in Genesis. Today we're in Genesis chapter 8, where we witness the aftermath of the flood. The judgment waters begin to recede, and we see God's faithfulness in remembering Noah, renewing the earth, and receiving worship. Genesis 8 verse 1. Then God remembered Noah and every living thing, and God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. When Scripture says God remembered, it doesn't mean he forgot. It means he acted on behalf of his covenant. Vadi Baucham notes that God's memory is his mercy in motion. God never abandons his people. Genesis 8 verses 2 to 5, waters recede. The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were also stopped, and the waters decrease continually. God is in control not only of the flood, but also of its retreat. He governs both judgment and renewal. On the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. A new beginning begins to emerge. Genesis 8 verses 6 to 12, Noah sends out birds. Noah sends out a raven, then a dove, to test if the earth is habitable. The dove returns with an olive leaf, a symbol of peace and life. It's a quiet sign of God's grace at work. So Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. V.11. God doesn't speak immediately. Noah waits. John MacArthur points out that patient obedience, even in silence, is a mark of mature faith. Genesis 8 verses 13 to 14 NKJV. And it came to pass the surface of the ground was dry, and in the 2nd month the earth was dried, though the flood ends in chapter 7. Noah doesn't move until God speaks. He remains under divine direction. Genesis 8 verses 15 to 17. God commands Noah to leave the ark. Then God spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, bring out every living thing, that they may abound on the earth. This echoes the language of Genesis 1. God is restarting creation. The animals are to be fruitful and multiply. The world gets a fresh beginning, but sin still remains. The ark is not salvation from sin. It's a picture pointing forward to Christ. Genesis 8 verses 18 to 19. So Noah went out, every animal went out of the ark by families. This obedience is complete and orderly. Salvation doesn't breed chaos. It brings restored order. Genesis 8 verse 20. Noah built an altar. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Noah's first act is worship. Vadi Baucham reminds us, true gratitude for salvation will always express itself in worship. The offering represents thanksgiving, atonement, and consecration. Genesis 8 verse 21. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. God responds with mercy, even though man is still sinful. God's promise is rooted in his own grace, not man's goodness. John MacArthur teaches that this anticipates the new covenant, where God's mercy triumphs over judgment. Genesis 8 verse 22. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. God reaffirms creation's rhythms. He is not only the judge, he is the sustainer. The stability of seasons is a testimony of his faithfulness. Conclusion and application. Genesis 8 teaches us, God remembers and acts on behalf of his covenant people. Worship is the right response to salvation. God's promises are faithful, even in a sinful world. Ask yourself, do I trust God's timing even when he seems silent? Is my first response to God's mercy worship and gratitude? Am I building my life on the altar of worship or on my own agenda? The flood points to the final judgment, but the ark points to Christ, who delivers us from wrath and brings us safely into a new creation. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more verse-by-verse Bible teaching. Family, thank you for reading Genesis 8 with me today. If something spoke to your heart, share in the comments. May God bless you and remind you of his faithfulness. I'll see you tomorrow.